Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's time to head to Mallory Park for rounds 3 and 4 of the Classic 2CV Championship, where we're going to try and get our mojo back after a pretty disappointing Snetterton event with a 6th and a 7th and some troubles. Firstly, electrical problems and then engine problems. We really had to focus on making sure that we turned up to Mallory Park with a good, strong racing car. So I gave my engines, one engine to Steve Hallford, I gave one engine to Tower Tech Rouge, asked them just to check them over, sort out whatever's wrong with them. They found a few problems, all was rectified, and then we were down to Chris Tovey, as you can see on the screen now, to get them tuned up on the engine dyno and ensure that they're running at their best possible performance. So a little bit of testing to be done at Mallory. I went down on Thursday for a track day to test out all 3 engines. I had to do all 3 engines to make sure they were good because I had my 2 engines and I had Rob's engine, which had a bit of work as well. My 2 engines running fantastically. Rob's had a carbing issue which we couldn't sort, or I couldn't sort on the day, and so I opted to offer him my 2nd engine, which was just as strong as my 1st. I just kept the other one in because it was already in the car. As you can see on screen, a little bit of footage from testing, which went great for me. Managed to go round, no issues at all, everything tested, all good. It didn't go so great for the 33 ECAS car, who got absolutely mullered by a young man in his 350Z, as you can see on the screen now. But despite that, we head to qualifying, ready to kick some ass, I think, and get on that front row and hopefully a pole position. So, without further ado, let's head to qualifying. Unfortunately for us, Mallory Park forgot to book a doctor for our morning session, and so we weren't allowed to drive. We had to go out behind the safety car and do 3 sighting laps in order to make sure that everyone was familiar with the direction of the track. And then it came down to where we were going to start for the race. There was 2 options: pick your name out of a hat, championship order. Now, for a bit of fun, I thought, let's pick our names out of a hat and have a little bit of fun for race 1. A rare opportunity that we might never see again. However, there was a vote. I don't agree with the vote, but it went to championship order, which means that I'm starting down in 8th with the guys I'm trying to chase on the front 2 rows of the grid. This could be interesting. It's definitely going to be difficult with my notoriously terrible starts. I was a little bit worried that I was going to be right at the back of the grid by turn 1. So we head into race 1, not really knowing where we stand. Before we head into race 1, there's a few people I need to thank for this season. In the picture you can see at the moment, there's a couple people speaking to me. One of them is Chris Tovey, who has been a massive help through not only this season, but the last couple of seasons, in helping me get to the front of the grid, giving every little bit of wisdom that he could muster himself to give me. And alongside him is Oscar Peretti, who's a dear friend of mine, who showed up out the blue at Mallory and decided he wanted to give us a bit of a helping hand, which of course was fantastic, along with his brother Luca, who was there as well. On my t-shirt you'll see a new little logo, which is the Borders Limited logo, who actually helped me get on the grid by paying for my race entries and helping with a few other bits as well. So it's great to have a sponsor on our side, and that's why I think it's so important that we really get some results in, not just for the sponsors, but for the friends, the family and the team behind me helping us get on track. But without further ado, let's head into race 1 and see just what we can do from P8 on the grid. So here we are, lining up in P8. Now, it would have been P5, but we actually had a 3-place grid drop carried over from our little incident with the ECAS car at Snetterton. So lining up P8, got a lot of work to do, and I was seriously worried about my my starts because they have been absolutely atrocious. But we build the revs, watching the lights, and it's go, and it's a decent start. Chris Yates next to us has also, Chris Yates next to us has also had a fantastic start, so we're going to follow him through and have a go up the inside or the outside of this line car. We're going to follow Yates through, tuck in front, and then try and get up the inside of this gadget car as well, giving Yates just a little bit of a push through the first corner, and I realised that I had quite a little bit more engine power than him, so I side draft him round the outside. I've got a gadget car for company as we head down the back straight. And you see how far ahead the leaders are already. But a lovely little push from the gadget car. He backs off now for some reason. And I just think, you know what? I'm absolutely going to send it through here. A little bit of the rear end stepping out, I have to correct. And I'm already right on the back of the lead trio as we head into the hairpin for the first time. I choose the outside. Bully goes up the inside. And we hang it all the way around the outside. Who's going to get out better? Bully's got a good line in the inside, but I've got that power from using the wider line round the hairpin. As here's a little bit of an outboard shot from Oscar as he filmed. That's P8 to P2 in just one lap. Gotta be my best start ever. But now the real work starts as we have to try and stop that bright orange and black car from running away from the whole pack. In order to do that, we might have to work together as a trio behind him. So I've got Bully for support behind. We've also got Ethan, who's looking pretty racy as he looks around the outside of Bully, but decides not to do anything there. As we head down the back straight, Bully's closing. We're going to ask him to give us a little bit of a push. There we go. Push. Thank you very much. And see the closing speed now with that extra little bump from the cars behind as we're right on the back of Nick Crispin now. The one thing you've got to make sure that you don't fall for, Mallory Park especially, and in most 2CV racing, is trying to get to the lead of the pack too quickly. If you haven't got the engine power, like we sort of suffer a little bit from, there is absolutely no point from trying to stay right at the front of the pack at any point. You've got to sort of hang on and wait to the end. And I was very aware of this. I was quite happy to see the guys behind battling because it meant that I could just get on with following Nick Crispin. And that's all I wanted to do as we skip a couple laps ahead now. You can see that we're still really close to Nick Crispin. He's defending the inside line like crazy. I don't want to have a go at passing him. I just want to make sure that I'm getting as good a run through the hairpin as I can to keep the guys behind. As you can see, Bully has a look up the inside, but I was pretty happy that the outside line was actually the fastest route. And now we've accidentally put ourselves side by side with Nick Crispin. I had no intention of passing him, but as Bully was there, I either had to back off and let Bully through as well, or stick up the inside of Nick Crispin and hope that we can get through Gerrard's, which is turn one, pretty side by side as Bully tries to push me, but I had to lift being on the outside. I had to lift coming into here. I don't think he was expecting that, but we hold it, and the most important thing is staying in this side draft with Nick Crispin. Otherwise, we're going to be absolutely destroyed, or just passed by the guys behind us especially. You can see Andrew Bull and Ethan Sparrow behind. Andrew Bull's opting for me. Ethan Sparrow's got the inside line. Who's going to pull out? I'm not pulling out of this side-by-side attack with Nick Crispin, but he just gets the better run up the inside, and I have to forfeit to P2, which I'm quite happy with. But now we've got Andrew Bull having a look up behind us and Ethan Sparrow. Jesus! And Ethan Sparrow up the inside. Ethan managed to get a good run, but we've got that outside line which gets us better power out of the core. We can carry a little bit more speed around the outside there. As we skip to the next lap, I've still got Ethan for company. He's happy to push me. I was giving him a little sign there, which just means you can back off now. Don't push me through this corner as we're both going off. And now we're really close to Nick Crispin. But I've got to now think, how am I going to be able to defend the position from Ethan and not attack Nick Crispin? And unfortunately, by the time I'd made a decision, Ethan Sparrow had already chosen to go around the outside. And as you can see, he gets a better run now being in that position that I wanted to be. But I'm going to try and stick it out. Ethan doesn't quite have the power that Nick Crispin or Andrew Bull have. So it's a little bit fairer a match for us, and I get that side draft. And the main thing I want now is to stay on this inside, and we actually get through quite nicely. I think Ethan might have just led us through there, as it would have just been a loss of time to go side by side through here, as there's already quite a big gap to Nick Crispin ahead. But we're closing in. We're always closing in through the corners on Nick Crispin especially. His car's a little bit more solid, so he has to take a little bit more speed off through the corners, but his straight line speed is absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, on a more tight, twisty, turny track, we might have been all right, but with Mallory being quite a power-hungry track, as it's predominantly flat out. We really needed to make sure we stayed in the right positions, as Nick Crispin having a little bit of a waggly tail there as he exits the S's up the hill to the hairpin, and I can resume my normal position of sticking it around the outside and then trying to tuck right into that, right into that toe as soon as possible, getting the power on as early as possible, and just sort of make sure that I don't end up next to Nick Crispin again, because the only place I'm going to be able to get next to Nick Crispin is on the outside of the hairpin, which again is going to put me on the outside on a drag to Gerard's, and unless it's the last lap, you don't want to be on the outside of the hairpin because you're going to be in the wrong place for next corner. So we'll skip forward a few laps. You could have seen there in the rear view mirror that we'd actually gapped the guys behind, but my rear view camera decided to stop working, and this is the mistake that I made trying to carry speed. I had to back off through Gerard's there, and that pushed me away and actually pulled Ethan Sparrow and Andrew Bull back into the toe, and by the hairpin, as you can see, I had Ethan Sparrow up the inside. So now, instead of thinking about my attack on Nick Crispin for the last lap, I'm now thinking about how I'm going to defend the guys behind and sort of keep myself in a position where I could maybe attack Nick Crispin as we have another good run through the S's as we head up to the hairpin again, and I'm going around outside, resuming my normal line. But Nick Crispin gets it a little bit wrong, and I'm not able to tuck in right behind him, so I now have to just stick to that inside line and hope that I can get a decent run down here, and we pull ahead of him, but now we've got Ethan Sparrows right behind Nick Crispin, and Andrew Bull is right behind me, and Ethan Sparrow gives Nick Crispin a push down towards turn 1, and I've now deciding what I've got to do. I'm going to try and stick it out around the outside of Ethan Sparrow, which I think I can do. I'm pretty happy, but I get a pinch and a knock from Andrew Bull behind, and that pushes me almost into a spin. Andrew Bull gets through, and I've lost a lot of time, but look at the gap now to the two ahead between myself and Andrew Bull just after that little tap. It wasn't a big knock, it was a complete accident. There's nothing really that anyone did wrong. There's nothing really that anyone did wrong, but it just pulled us away from that toe again, and now we've got to work really hard to try and catch up with them. And it takes a good few laps. It takes maybe 3, 4, possibly 5 laps to catch these two again, but working really well with Andrew Bull. He was pushing me down the straights. I think he knew maybe that I was a little bit quicker through the corners. He was happy at this point, pushed me down the straights so we can catch up as quickly as possible to Nick Crispin and Ethan Sparrow, because if he'd have got ahead of me, I wouldn't have been able to push him, and he would have been holding us up through the corners as well. But now notice that my line through the hairpin, now I have clean air, I'm taking a lot tighter line, and that's not working out for me at all, because you don't get the run out of the corner. And now I'm sort of, this is 3 laps later, I'm sort of trying that inside line. Ethan got a bit squirrely on the outside, which gave me the opportunity to stick it down the inside for Gerard's now, as it's a good old drag race. I think I get a little bit of a bump from Andrew Bull behind us, turn in, and Ethan Sparrow then settles in behind us, and we're back up to P2 where we rightfully belong, I think. And now we're trying to settle into that mindset again of defending whilst also semi-attacking or keeping Nick Crispin on his toes, because the only way to beat Nick Crispin is to just pile on the pressure time and time again, and just hope that he makes a mistake, because he is prone to the odd mistake. It tends normally to be in qualifying or practice, but you can pressure him enough just to make him feel that sweat, you know, make those mistakes, and that's exactly what we want. As you can see, guarding the inside line really heavily, and we actually couldn't head to the outside that time because we were being attacked by Andrew Bull, who uses my move on me round the outside, and with his superior engine power as well, he pushes ahead, and we're going to have to stick now with P3 behind Andrew Bull for at least another lap now, as they're just pulling away a little bit. We're not going to get the run down the inside for Gerard's now, but we're in a good position. We've got about 2 or 3 laps left, I think, maybe 4 laps left, and I'm now thinking of the end game. The problem I've got is that I never have a timer in my car, so I never, unless I put a last lap board out, I never know whether it's the last lap. But you can see the guy's head getting a little bit squirrely, forced me to back off a little bit, and of course Ethan Sparrow right behind us, ready to capitalise on any mistakes I made as we head down the back straight again. I'm staying in that toe whilst also semi-defending to Ethan Sparrow, because I don't want him to get me up the hill to the hairpin. I want to see if I can use my outside line again, but I think Ethan's just got the better run on me now, and he's looking to the outside, so I'm stuck up the inside now. No, I'm not. I actually managed to get across, but I'm taking that inside line again, which is the big mistake. I saw a gap, I saw an opening, and I thought I'll go for it, but at the end of the day, it's just not the quickest line at all. You lose so much time coming out of that hairpin, and as you can see, that outside line has worked in Bully's favour, and he's now got ahead just about of Nick Crispin. I've got a decision to make. Do I go for Bully or do I go for Nick? And I think through sheer spite and longing to beat Nick Crispin, I went to push Andrew Bull, which was the wrong decision, as now I've got Ethan Sparrow up the inside. I can't take my usual line. I'm sort of edging him out. As you can see, now I managed to come across to the inside, just cleared Ethan Sparrow. But I think if I'd have got up the inside there with Nick Crispin, I'd be fighting for second here. And again, two choices to make, or one choice to make, Nick or Bully, and for some reason again I go with Andrew Bull, thinking that he's got a good run on outside, but he then backs off. If I'd have just tucked up behind Nick Crispin, I possibly could have shuffled Bully out wide here and got up behind Nick Crispin for the hairpin, as he hits some debris that's come down as though yellow flags through that corner. Ethan Sparrow's got a fantastic run as he's read the room fantastically, and this is actually the final lap through the corner. Bully pushes Ethan as wide as he can get away with. I nip up the inside, but Bully's got that power through that outside line down earlier, and I'm now stranded on the outside, and I've got Ethan Sparrow here. I've got to try and stick into his side draft as it's a race down to the line. I don't think I'm going to quite make it. We start making gains, but there's the line, and it's P4, unfortunately for us. Not quite a podium, not quite where we wanted to be. P4. I think a great race. There was a few mistakes there, a few decisions I probably would have made differently, but hindsight is a fantastic thing, isn't it? So yeah, that's Nick Crispin P1, Andrew Bull P2, and Ethan Sparrow pipping me to the line there with P3. But I think a good return after our issues that we had at Snetterton, a good return to racing, and a fair old scrap between the lot of them. It was all fair, it was all very, very good racing. We did get that little love tap from Andrew Bull, but it wasn't purposeful at all. Some would call it a bump and pass. I just call it hard racing, really. It didn't ruin anyone's day. It just pushed us back a little bit. So there we go. That was Mallory Park, race 1 or round 3 of the championship, and things were looking promising. Really, really strong race. We did a lot of things right, did a couple of things wrong, but that's racing sometimes. But yeah, P4, I'm very, very happy with that, and hopefully we can take this momentum into race 2 and possibly get either a podium or maybe a win, because I think we were the fastest driver on track. So if we can carry that momentum into race 2, things just should be really, really good. So we'll see what happens in qualifying. If you're enjoying the 2CV Racing, you can find more information at 2cvracing.org. We have a website, we have Facebook, Instagram, everything. You can find all the updates on the current situation in the championship there, and you can find any additional information you want, maybe about the cars if you want to get involved. Talk to us, get involved. That's it for today. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next video. But do not stop pushing.